have a question.
Ner. Ner. Now's not the time.
Okay. You always talk about intimacy with the father. Stop.
Okay.
You always talk about intimacy, having intimacy with the Father.
Okay.
But what does that look like?
Like things. Like things.
Oh my goodness.
You can edit that part out. Okay, intimacy.
I'm not.
Intimacy with the Father. Okay. So when I was in Africa, there was somebody speaking. Like a guest speaker. And he said something that really touched me in a deep way. He said, intimacy can be seen as into me, you see. So you get to see into me, and I get to see into you, and that's what intimacy is. And what it is opening up your heart for God to look all up in it. Opening up your mind for God to look all up in it. Opening up your emotions for God to, into you, see. Into me, you see. And you get to look all through me, and you get to see all the terrible, sinful moments. You get to see all of my celebrations. You get to see the sin and secret that I've lived out. You get to see my thoughts that are maybe wrong or evil or, whatever. And basically you say, I hold nothing back from you. If you're sitting with a friend, there's probably about 3 or 4 things you just don't tell them. They're your closest friend in the world, but they're not going to know that because it's humiliating or it's shameful. And with God, it's where you come to this place and you say, no, with you, into me you see. And I think a lot of people mistake intimacy for physical interaction. Intimacy is like affection and being physically close, but the reality is, and that is a portion of intimacy, but it is not the whole thing. The depth of intimacy is into me you see. Into you I can see. And we're totally open. I'm totally vulnerable. I'm totally raw with you. I tell you all my secrets, even though I know you've already seen them, if it's the Lord. I tell you everything I feel. I tell you every pain that I have. I tell you my deepest insecurities, and I just say, you know what? Into all of that, you can see. I'm not holding anything back. You can just look at it. It's open to you. And a lot of people don't know, like, do I sit down? Do I kneel? Do I lay? It doesn't matter, intimacy with God for me, like I've going through so much change in my life. In one season, I would pull over, I'd get off the highway and pull off on a side road, and I would just sit in my truck, and I would just lean back, and I would just be like, oh my goodness, Father, I need you. I just, and I would just begin to talk to God. And then there's this powerful thing in intimacy where Mother Teresa said it's the power of silence. And you have to remember, being intimate with God, you can tell him everything. You can just pour it all out. But also there's a part of intimacy where I listen to you. And I give you a chance to tell me what you feel and what you're going through and what your perspective is. And so in intimacy with God, whether it be, I don't care if you're on the toilet. I'm so serious. Like, you can... Okay. You can call on God anywhere. That's the beauty. And I'm not being disrespectful in any way. Truly, God is not off limits to us. That's the beauty of intimacy with him. If you're by yourself and you can open up your heart, you can be intimate with God. And also I just, I think it's so important for us to listen, because sometimes we say we're being intimate with God and we're just blah, 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 and I just basically vent and I leave, and then God's like, oh wait, I had something to say, and you're already gone. But it's this place where not only does into you God see, but into God you see. And that changes us. When I can begin to look in God's heart and I can see who he is, I can see his feelings. Okay, this is transforming my life. So intimacy with God is not so much about how you do it, but it's about where in you it comes from. Who, it's about how you open up yourself to God, where you say, there's no trespassing signs. There's no memory that you can't come into. There's no secret vault. There's no secret place where I say, you can come here but no further. But rather you say, into me you see. And then God begins to say, well, into me you see. And you're like, whoa, you know. and there's this intimacy, there's this relationship that begins to be forged between you and God. And you will discover that you'll begin to crave that. Just like you would crave an intimate relationship with people that are close to you in your life. But it'll be greater than the relationship you crave with them. And you'll find yourself in places where you're maybe in a crowded room and you're like, man, I really want to be by myself. I want you to into me you see, you know, I want this moment. And you'll begin to crave a quiet, personal, intimate relationship with God. So I don't know if that answers. Okay.
Thanks.